Okay, so I just casted a replay and decided to do another one immediately. And it's on River Horizon again. Jeez. Jesus. You know, I complain about most replays being on this map, but I myself play on it quite often as well. What a freaking hypocrite. Anyhow, on the left hand side, we've got myself, and I'm playing for. That's right, Dol Guldur. The faction that I know the least in this one, and the faction that I feel like is the hardest to learn in terms of just gameplay mechanics essentially. And yeah, so on the right hand side we've got Rallitir, who's my clanmate. Okay, so he's gone for 3 furnaces and a clan setting. On the other hand, I've gone for 3 slave mills. Yeah, slave mills, and with the spider start. More specifically, I've gone for the spider layer, and yeah, let's see how that's gonna play out. I feel like, once again, I was talking about this in the last cast. You know, if your early game is weaker than your opponent's faction early game, then you gotta do something to divert his attention to his base so that you can set up your economy. And that's what I'm going for over here as well. I'm pretty sure I go for the, well, I haven't chosen it yet, but I go for basically Dol Guldur's War Chant, the ability that buffs your troops by 75 damage at the cost of 25 armor. That's a very kind of unique ability, by the way. Props to developers for adding that. Well, generally props to developers for the entire mod, because it's absolutely amazing. But you know, little details, little unique things like that make it even better. Yeah, so Rallitir is sending the 1st Battalion of Wildmen of Dunland over here. I feel like this is just this is more about scouting rather than getting a resource structure. And surprisingly, he goes for the work pit. Most players go for a double clan setting in this matchup, I think, but he goes for the work pit, which I guess is justifiable as well, because we'll talk about that in a second, because action has started already on the map. Okay, so over Rallitir's side of the map, the spiders under War Chant take down one of his furnaces, and over here I have brought my tethered shade close to his units, because this guy debuffs enemy units by 15 speed and 10 armor, which might not seem like a lot, but XD, by the way, I get one of his builders. So that's how this ability, this PowerPoint ability is so useful. It gives your units insane damage. Like 75% damage is is quite a lot. So they take down the furnace very quickly, and they also took down the builder there quite quickly. Anyhow, I lose a slave mill over here. So yeah, the tether shade debuff might not seem like a lot, but then you remember that unit costs like 100 resources. So for a unit that is so cheap and is a builder, to have that feature is actually quite handy. You can, especially after you get the discount on builders. I don't even remember how you get it, to be quite honest, but I'm pretty sure there's a discount. Somehow you can get the discount on builders, and you can build them for just 50, and the maximum limit of builders that can be on the map at the same time, I think, is 5. And so you can build those for just 250 and have them, if it's a big engagement, if you're not playing the macro game, but rather you're playing kind of on the line, and you have like a big engagement in the center, let's say, which happens a few times in this game actually. Then you can debuff your enemy by, you just like build lots of tethered shades and hold them, have them hang around the enemy essentially, and that debuffs them. So I'm playing this game from defense essentially, because I don't know better. I don't know what to do with Dol Guldur against Isengard. So I'm just trying to protect my slave mills at this stage of the game, and I think I'm being relatively successful with it. I have just 3 slave mills at this point, building the 4th one. But yeah, so obviously spiders are very, very effective against Warg Riders. I think we're playing this game on a neutral host, by the way. So both of us gotta be careful with our cavalry usage so that they don't get on pikes. And Rallitir isn't super careful here. His warg riders were fighting with pikes, and mine kind of got on top of pikes over here too. He loses his entire battalion of warg riders. But my guys, you know, the orc jailers and also the broken rabble are successful in dealing with the wildmen over that side. Well, the broken rebel at this point already have Thrain's leadership, I'm pretty sure, which grants them 50% armor, and their default damage is quite high. I mean, I'm saying high obviously in relative terms, not in absolute terms. You know, relative to their cost, it's very, very high. So getting that 50% armor leadership from Thrain makes them even better. Okay, so at this point, I feel like the defense was very successful. I did not lose a single slave mill, you know, during that attack, and he lost a lot of his army. So I have 4 power points, and on the other hand, he just got his 4th one as well. So I'm trying to creep over this side and also over this side. And I'm also trying to harass him. So 3 actions at the same time. That's what we like to see. Yeah, so his cash floating a bit, I would say. He's got like 1,300 resources. On the other hand, I'm doing exactly the same. I'm also cash floating. But yeah, at this point I could have built the Spire of Sorcery, I guess. That would have been a good decision. Okay, I'll put down the Carnage ability over here once again. And as you can see, the furnace just absolutely melts, you know, under the Carnage. Yeah, so over this side, the battalions that were creeping just a few seconds ago are now trying to harass him once again. And yeah, so I took down the furnace over here, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, there's no chance I'm not taking this down too. And a bit of miscontrol once again with my spiders, although I don't think I lost any one of them. Let me actually check if I'm recording. Yeah, okay, we're good. Righty, so I tried to save at least a few battalions over here. These guys aren't savable anymore, so I just take my spiders back to my base. I'm cash floating really hard, and this comes from inexperience. You know, inexperience playing with Dol Guldur. Ideally you would never want to, you know, have that many resources just hanging there not being used, unless you're specifically, you know, consciously going for a hero or going for some expensive building or upgrade or something. But yeah, so as you can see, I'm going for the Spire of Sorcery. And after the game, actually Rallitir plays Dol Guldur a lot, so he knows about the features quite a lot more than I do. And after the game, he told me that before building the Spire of Sorcery, I should have gone for the upgrade in the fortress, which costs 1k, and it gives you a discount on all of your buildings. It gives you, I think, I'm not exactly sure about this, but I think it gives you 33%. Can't really remember. So if that's correct, assuming that's correct, then I could have built my Spire of Sorcery for just 600. Well, to round things, you know, I mean, to be more exact, I could build it for 666, but I'm pretty sure that's not how it goes. So something like that, basically. You can read the ability yourself and do the math. Okay, so he's got a big clump of Dunlanding. You know, I'm not even sure how they're called. Wildman of Dunland and also Wildman Spearman over here. And yeah, he goes in over here and is trying to harass my economy. But since I already have the Spire of Sorcery, well, at this point I'm trying to surround him. You saw what I did there, right? I attacked from this side, but I also separated a few battalions so that they get surrounded. And I use Chill of the Grave, which slows him down by 40%, which is a very, very significant slowdown. And at this point, he literally cannot escape. The only thing he can do is fight over here. But that's not really a big deal because he's double buffed while I'm debuffed. You know, he's got his War Chant and he's also got Crebain. So my units, so just generally in terms of stats, like I should have won that. If we weren't using any type of buffs, I should have won that fight just straight out. But the buff plus debuff combination by Eisen is very, very good. And I don't have any ranged units, any archer units that can shoot down the Crebain. And this is a big mistake by me. Like, this is a very big mistake. I should have just retreated and let the Crebain run its course. But I just fought here for like a whole minute under unfavorable circumstances. Yeah, that was a very bad play by me, big blunder. But anyway, not the end of the world. The spiders are trying to get something over that side of the map, you know, just trying to get into his base and once again divert his attention, maybe get a few farm kills. But yeah, so at this point I had upgraded my Spider of Sorcery to level 2, from which you get access to Harbingers of Shadow, which is an insane unit. Let me put it that way. Like, they're super strong, so that's why I immediately got them. You know, even before I upgraded my barracks, I went for Harbingers, because at this point I can just spam these Rise Undead, which is exactly what I'm doing right here, and trying to attack 2 furnaces at the same time, 3 furnaces actually. Over here I might not be successful, but I will definitely take this down. The Rise Undead are amazing against structures. Well, their damage output is amazing, so generally speaking. So yeah, a bit unlucky here. I don't get this one, but I do get this one, also this one, and also I'm gonna get a 4th furnace over this side as well. So in terms of economy, it's gonna drop down to 675. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So in comparison, I got 850 with 630 active army. But in terms of power points, once again, it is ahead, which is entirely because of this fight. Like, that was a dumb decision by me to fight under, you know, circumstances that unfavorable. But generally, at this point, my economy is well set up. I do have a lack of Ruinous Towers, though, I would say. As Dol Guldur, you want to absolutely spam the hell out of this, because it gives you faster access to building new Tethered Shade, and it's also generally very useful. And it also gives you resources, so it's absolutely a no-brainer to build as many Ruinous Towers as you basically possibly can. Okay, so I once again split my army, and I tried to defend over this side, although he was successful in taking down a slave mill, and is also going to take down this barracks, but I still have 2 more left, so that's not such a huge deal. But, you know, at the same time, I'm harassing his economy over here, Harbinger Rise Undead and 2 battalion of Rise Undead over here, and I use Chill of the Grave once again to slow him down. On the other hand, he throws down his War Chant, and he's going... He's already got access to tier 2, he just hasn't used it yet. If I take down this furnace, that would have been amazing, but I'm pretty sure I'm not going to be able to, because the works will save it. And also this one, I use the Harbinger level 1 ability, and I also fend off his attack over here. Okay, so just barely he saves this furnace. Very important save by Rallitir over there, and I'm pretty sure he's going to be able to save this one too. Or the Harbingers will... Oh, the Harbingers actually take it down. Damn, that was a big little win for me. Okay, so he's got his tier 2 plus 7 points. On the other hand, I've got my tier 2 plus 1 point. So once again, I'm behind in terms of power points. And he's gone for Wolfgar, and he uses them with Wolf Riders. Obviously, they don't have any synergy. Wolfgar does not give them leadership. But since they're both kind of mounted units, then it kind of makes sense. Like, until he gets his, you know, Longhouse, it kind of makes sense to use them so that Wolfgar can just passively get levels by getting the experience split from the Wolf Riders. So once again, a bit of a standstill on the map. He's got a few, you know, Wildman battalions over here. Has gone for the 3rd clan standing actually, and he's trying to harass my economy over here. So in terms of command points, 850 and 720 active army. So I sent a few battalions of pikes and Rise Undead to defend against that, and my main army is over here. I got 3 battalions of Harbingers of Shadow, which is very powerful, obviously. And as a tier 2, I choose Spawn of Karkaroth, which is also a very useful ability. You can harass the opponent's economy with it. You can kill heroes. They're quite good. And at this point, I had lots of money since my economy was well set up, and I go for Sinatra. You're gonna see some interesting stuff with her later in the game, as a little spoiler. I would say this is a composition or the control mistake by me. This amount of wildmen does not require me to have this entire army defending them. I could have had like two, like I could have had half of his army either fighting over here or harassing his base. So yeah, so he goes for a scum of Lugburts, yeah. And as an answer, I use my spawn of Kerkaroth. And at this point, Wolfgar is level 4, which means he has access to the birdies. And obviously, birdies are very, very good against heroes. So I use Sinatra on defensive stance over here, try to get rid of the wargs. I am successful at fending off this attack. Those 4 battalions of wildmen only were able to get 1 slave mill. But at this point, I use her on aggressive stance. What a newbie mistake by me. And I also completely forgot, or rather I wasn't paying attention. I think I was just, controlling units over here, trying to send them forward. I completely forgot that Wolfgar can summon the birdies, and the birdies have very, very high damage against heroes. And I just lose my Sinatra over there, just like that. Very, very bad, in terms of future potential, leveling her up would have been amazing if I could have leveled her up. I think to level 5 is when she gets access to her ability, which essentially makes opponents' units hostile to each other. I have forgotten what that is called. Okay, so the birdies are continuing to harass me, but he doesn't really have that many troops on the map. Not summoned troops, but actual troops. So, like 400. Although he's spamming, he's spamming very well. He keeps the production of wildmen going, and yeah. But my army is pretty good looking too, especially the harbinger part of the army. Isn't looking too shabby. Okay, so I go for the 3rd barracks over here once again, and I also upgraded this to level 2, so I get my 1st battalion of Ravagers over here. Obviously, very good units too. Generally, all of the late game infantry of Dol Guldur is amazing. Just very, very tanky with high damage output. Harbingers, Tomb Guards, Ravagers, what have you. Literally everything they have is very, very good in melee mode. But yeah, Rallitir is starting to set up his economy very comfortably right now. He's got 2 lumber mills. He's got a very, very decent, lumber furnace spread on the map, and the 3rd lumber mill is being built as we speak, and he has a grouping of wildmen over here who's once again attacking my base. And right now he has teched up to he has built the longhouse, upgraded to level 2. Actually, both of them are level 2. And now Wolfgar actually has synergy with his cavalry. He gives them leadership to the Dunlending Outriders. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Okay, so once again I use Chill of the Grave, slow him down. I should have probably saved this ability to be using as cavalry, but I just, that's a bit of a situational awareness mistake. Like I didn't know that he has so many battalions over there. You see what he did there, right? He rode his cavalry into his wildmen and used war chant only after that, so that all of them get the benefit from the war chant. And yeah, I'm losing this fight pretty damn badly because he's got all these super good units. So these are the Huskarls, right? So in the previous cast, I was correct. On the first try, it was actually Huskarl battalions. Yeah, so cavalry is obviously can be very effective against Dol Guldur because the cheap pikes aren't really doing anything to them. But at this point, I already had Tomb Guards, and I was kind of forced. I didn't want to, but I was forced to use the Forest of Fear because I felt like I was using that fight really badly, and if I lost that fight and let him push further into my base, then that would have been devastating. So as you can see, the pikemen themselves literally die from the trample without killing these guys, which kind of makes sense because these guys, the Dunlending Outriders cost 700 resources, so kind of sort of makes sense that they don't die from pikemen that cost like 180 or whatever it is. A bit bold. If he was trying to get my fort over here, then that would have been a very bold attempt. I think that was just a bit of a miscontrol over there. Yeah, but I still have a pretty decent eco, almost 1000 CP. Although I'm not sure how much of it is production buildings. Well, I mean the entire top part of the map is built with my farms, so it might actually be, you know, a decent economy. I can't really be sure. But Isengard's economy is even better. I feel like, yeah. I mean, he's got more or less the same amount of basic resource structures. You know, these guys. But also on top of that, he's got his lumber mills set up, which is very, very good. You know, which is a very big boost to his economy essentially. So I do a big push in the middle, and my army composition at this point is very decent, I would say. I have 2 battalions of Tomb Guards, 2 battalions of Ravagers. I'm pretty sure I had all 3 battalions of Harbingers. You know, Harbingers of Shadow, they have a limit on them. You can only build 3 of them. But the Eisen army is looking really, really scary as well. He's got the Axemen, the Lending Axemen. So his entire army is essentially getting buffed by Wolfgar. He gives leadership literally to everybody over here. And I don't have any leadership. But I do have tankiness on my units, and I also have the ability to use these guys, the archers and the pikemen, for some time in the fight. And once I notice that they're getting kind of low on health, I can switch them to Rise Undead, which is obviously very handy. Once again, I try to surround him on a few sides so that all of my melee units are hitting, and not only one, and not only a few battalions hitting and other ones chilling in the backside. But yeah, the Tomb Guards are super, super tanky, as you can see. I get a lot of power points over here, and he tries to trample my archers, and he's getting a lot of power points too. I'm pretty sure, yes, he's getting even more power points. He's got his level 3, and on top of that, he's got already 14 power points, so just 10 away from his tier 4. But somehow I win the engagement over here. I mean, obviously, Tomb Guards... Well, do I, actually? I mean, I feel like that was kind of an equal engagement, you know. We both lost a lot. So yeah. This is actually the bold move by me. I was actually, like, a few moments ago I was thinking that I was winning, so I would kind of want to expand closer to his base, but then miscontrolled, forgot about that I did this. So yeah, but at this point I get my elite army set up essentially, and but he has access to everything. He has his buff, his debuff, his summon, and he's got Fuel the Fires as well, which, obviously, I mean, it increases the output from lumber mills, which is the obvious part, but also, not so obvious, is that it unlocks the Heat Blast for furnaces, so it becomes even harder to harass him. Okay, so very interesting who's going to win this engagement. So 620 against 600, essentially equal command points. And I'm on 9 power points. He was on 16, 15, 16, something like that. So interesting who will win here. I'm pretty sure Eisen is gonna come out on top over here, and I'm not sure why I'm not using my Spawn of Kerkroth ability. Well, I actually did use it. I just summoned it over here, I guess. I wasn't really paying attention. Not sure about that. But yeah, anyway, so my tanky units, I've also given them flags, by the way. I've researched flags on one of my barracks and given them flags, which is very useful because on level 3 these guys unlock Appetite for Destruction, and Tomb Guards will just become more tankier. You know, more tanky is what I meant. Okay, so I do win the engagement actually, which is, yeah, which once again it kind of makes sense because Dol Guldur is supposed to dominate in melee, and that's what it did. And if it didn't dominate in melee either, then it would have been an absolutely useless faction. But no, it's actually quite well designed. So yeah, so I use the Harbinger's ability on this level, and with the help of the hero Kargast, who's actually level 5 already. What's his level 5? I don't even know actually. Target resource structure. So that's like an equal boost. Okay, so once again, I'm trying to split my army, harass on both sides. And at this point, I'm harassing with elite infantry, so they should be able to take these resource structures down fairly quickly. But I don't have, damn, what a freaking composition mistake over here once again. I don't have a single pikeman battalion over here. I have all this expensive infantry just getting absolutely wrecked by the tramples. yeah, once again, a big mistake over me. I fed him a lot of PowerPoints. I lost expensive units. And he had so much money at this point thanks to his tier 4 and the lumber mill buff that he went for freaking Saruman, which is a bit of a questionable decision against late game Dol Guldur, I would say, because his Wizard Blast isn't going to one-shot these units. They're very, very tanky. But yeah, I also lost Kargast over here, so big sad. Yeah, so yeah, I'm just I was successful in clearing up a few farms and furnaces, lumber mills over here, and I'm trying to continue my harassment attempts. I'm just diverting his attention over that. My main push is over this side. I have a decent army composition over here. This time I do have pikes, so the New Landing Outriders can trample them without resistance. And I should have just yeah, I should just leave over this side and continue harassing over here, which is exactly what I'm doing. Yeah. Okay, this part is alright. This part is alright. Also I have Crimple. I noticed Crimple was running with the army over there. And yeah, at this point, I had decent map control. Like, I'm harassing him from both sides. And he's sending the cavalry, I guess, to, yeah, take down this tower. I can't fight with him. I would, like, this army would get wrecked by this one. Like, I can't fight with him, but I can kind of try to divert him on this side, fight him here, and vice versa. But at this point, he's got 3 battalions of New Landing Huskarls, and these guys are heroic. They have this amazing ability on level 1, which ignores enemy armor, and so my guys don't have any chance against them, even in melee mode. New Landing Outriders, once again, well, they're already level 3, so yeah, it's not surprising that they don't die from the basic pikemen, but they will obviously die from the Tomb Guards, because Tomb Guards are elite pikemen that cost 800. So basic axemen over here. I feel like I could have fought with these guys. I'm not sure why I'm retreating over there, but yeah, the Huskarls are absolutely wrecking me. Another mistake by me over here, by the way. Like, I shouldn't have fought with them. Obviously, especially under the ability which ignores armor, that's a bit of a suicide, attempt. Rather, suicide mission, I should have said. Is what I meant. Okay, so the Tomb Guards with a battalion of Ravagers are harassing over here, and these guys are pushing over this side. But he has a very capable army pushing from the middle of the map, and they're supported by Saruman, which is this the fear resist glow? I'm not sure if Saruman gives them fear resist. Let me know in the comments. Actually, I'm not sure about that. So yeah, I'm taking down the lumber mill over here. He's pushing me very hard right now. Like, I don't have enough units to defend on my base. The Huskarls alone would have eaten my army over here. I'm trying to harass him over here and also push him from the top side, but I do not have enough units to defend. And as we can see, he has his tier 4 Fellstorm, which absolutely wrecks me. It destroys my most important building, the Spire of Sorcery. It destroyed, I'm pretty sure there was a farm or a barracks. I wasn't paying attention. Anyway, I'm trying to continue harassing him despite the fact that I'm losing my base over here. And he goes for my fortress, and I summon Undead Monstrosity at the same time. Like, I panicked here. I thought my fortress would go down if I, like, okay, the summon of the Undead Monstrosity was alright. It was the correct decision, but I also go for Dark Hysteria. But at this point, I had already defended my fortress, so I'm not sure why I did that, actually. That was a bit of a panic moment over there, This Undead Hysteria. It wasn't useful at all, excuse me. I defended my base very successfully even without it. Like, the summon of the Undead Monstrosity would have done it. Also, a little thing that I noticed, like, I was trying to... God, so many things are happening on the map at the same time. I can't really comment on everything. I was trying to use his ability, this one, Hooked. Target enemy hero is kind of stunned. I clicked on it like I don't know, 7 times, but it was refusing to get used. I'm not sure. Maybe you should be like really close to him so that it's used, but it just wasn't getting used, and I'm not sure why. Okay, so my tier 3 passed, but this over here, the Dark Hysteria, that was a waste. Like I panicked and I took that ability, and it wasn't useful at all. But at this point, I did a Hail Mary attack of on his fort with my Harbingers and a few battalions of Ravagers and stuff, which I didn't show because I was busy showing you my fortress. That wasn't successful, but he noticed that his fort is kind of low, and he upgraded armor on it, which is going to come in handy later in the game. Bit of a spoiler alert. So once again, the Outriders were trying to destroy my Spire of Sorcery. Instead, they destroyed my barracks and trampled the Tomb Guards. Well, at least tried to trample, but obviously they died. Yeah, so once again, these guys are X-Men. Okay, with X-Men I can fight, but with the Huskarls, nah, Huskarls are super good. I can't really do that. But very clever, very clever play by Rallitir over here. He summoned the banner of Wolfgar over here, and which obviously gives you access to Huskarls. It also summons a battalion of Huskarls for you. And he didn't pull them back with Wolfgar, but left them here to destroy my Spire of Sorcerer, which once again is the most, pretty much the most important building of Dol Guldur. So that was very successful for him. He does take it down, yes. Okay, so as you can see over here, I don't make the same mistake twice. I immediately take away Sinatra so that the birdies cannot kill her. So Furnace Blast, damn, yeah, that the effects on that, and generally the visual effects, or also known as FX in this mod, are just so damn good, man. Like, they're incredible. Whoever worked on that, just props to you. Once again, he's pushing with a clump of Axemen and Saruman, and I don't really have anything to defend, and Saruman is already level 2. He can use the Wither Blast, which he does, which obviously does not kill Tomb Guards, which, that would have been a bit ridiculous if it did. But anyway, so at this point, I'm like, alright, well, I'm pretty damn, like, my situation is bad. I don't really have anything on the map to defend, so I'm like, alright, we're gonna try something here. So yeah, as I said, I can't really do much over here. I don't really have the barracks. These ones are just level 1, so I don't have access to my elite units anymore. So I take over here, I choose the tier 3 Wither, which deals damage against structures. And I use the Harbinger's ability. I'm gonna use it rather very soon. I use Wither. I take down some of Fortress's health. Sorry. I summon the Spawn of Karkaroth. I use Carnage on them, so for maximum, for maximum damage. And I try like a desperate attack on the fort with whatever a few battalions of Harbingers I have, and also the Spawn of Karkaroth, and and that's, yeah, this was my last chance essentially, and I was kind of close, but not really, but at the same time, he was trying to, parallel to that, he was trying to take down my fort with the X-Men and also with Saruman, but he wasn't successful either. But at this point, like, I still have my eco, but I don't have units, I don't have my barracks actually functioning, and he still has most of his eco intact. And so at that point, well, I called GG. I guess I could have continued playing a bit more, but since after the Hail Mary attack failed, I got pretty demoralized, and I was like, all right, even like his remax potential is just so much higher. He has such a good eco thanks to the lumber mills. He's got all of his production buildings, in place. They're not damaged, so we both made an attempt to take down forts. Both failed, both lost a lot of our armies over those attempts. But his remax potential was so much higher. since he got, once again, since he got the eco and the production much better set up than me, he could have just spammed back all of the units that he lost so much quicker, and I couldn't. I should have, like, first of all, I didn't have lumber mills, so I didn't have that much income. I should have graded my barracks once again. I should have built a Spiral Sorcery once again. And so, yeah, that's why I called GG. Once again, a pretty decent game. I really enjoyed playing it, and hope you guys enjoyed watching it too. And that's about it. See you all on the next cast.